Or wants to know.
Dave.
Will I get a better deal? Throw that one in there.
We're live now? We're live now. Hi, Todd Boydston. I got your text message, just so you know I'm sending you a shout out. Sorry we had technical difficulties, but welcome to the third Hot on Homes Insights for Onsites. As you know, for the past 14 years, we've worked with the top realtors in Dallas-Fort Worth. One thing that Hot On really likes to do is focus on the realtors who like to sell new homes, because that's all we feature on the show. And in our marketing program, our new homes. And as you can see, I have a distinguished panel with me right now, and all of these realtors, brokers love to sell new homes. And probably if you are an on-site sales agent, you probably already know these guys, but just in case and just to do a refresh, I wondered if it would be okay if you guys introduced yourself and told our on-site teams and presidents and everyone in the home building industry a little bit about yourselves. Do you mind?
No.
Oh, good. I'm going to start, Alicia, with you down on the end. This is Alicia Trevino. Go ahead, Alicia.
Thanks. I'm Alicia Trevino. I'm a broker for Century 21. I've been selling for about 23 years. I've sold hundreds of new homes. I love new homes. I'm the number one agent in Texas, the number one Hispanic agent in Texas, and I've been top 10 in the nation for several of the companies that I work for. So new homes are definitely my favorite thing to sell, and I really am excited to share some stuff here.
Very good. Thank you, Alicia. David Mays.
That was really good. I'm David Mays.
I'm just David.
I'm David. I'm just a guy. David Mays, broker with Vivo Realty. I've been in real estate for about 10 years, and I love selling new construction. I love our agents to sell new construction. And that's it. Should have bullet pointed everything, but
that's good. I like it. Thank you, David.
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn Trong. Nobody knows who you are.
Oh, darn. Vaughn Trong with RE/MAX Premier Properties. Been in the business. This is my 19th year with RE/MAX. Being consistently number one in my office or in the entire company for the last 15 years. And top 1% of RE/MAX realtors in Texas, and top 5% in the nation. Love selling new homes, especially the last couple years when you have a shortage of inventory in pre-owned, and there's no other place to take them but new homes. So lately that we've been selling mostly our new homes, and we love our builders.
We've heard that across the board for sure. Thank you, Vaughn. Janet, right next to me. This is Janet Sabil. Janet, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm Janet Sabil. I am with Coldwell Banker Apex Realtors, and I work with my sister, Farrell Tesano, and we've been doing this for about 15 years, and we really specialize in new homes. We love selling new homes because, especially for single mothers, we try to make sure that we get them into a new home because it's less work that they have to do, and everything is fresh and new for them, so it makes it a lot easier for them to do. And also people relocating to have those spec homes available to be able to move. They don't have to make any repairs or do anything. Most people want to move in and put their stuff down and start living. So that's one of the reasons why we specialize. It's really one of the first things we do is try and take people to new homes.
And I know she does love selling new, because I was watching you take notes and write down all of the on-site sales agents that you've worked with, and she just has tons of them. So
I'm like, forgive me if I can't remember everyone's name.
I'm sure they understand. That's okay. Just bring them your buyers.
Absolutely.
They'll like that part.
Absolutely.
Yes, and Miss Jill Elliott on the end here, last but not least.
Yes, I'm with JP & Associates Realtors, and I think this year, we have seen a really big spurt in new homes. And what I like, my favorite thing about selling them is watching the progression and then watching how excited my clients get. Okay, now we're in this phase, and sometimes I even take my iPad out there and I'll go out there, and they may not be able to be there, and I'll show them, the progression. And I love doing that, and that's been, I think, my favorite thing about selling new homes.
Very good. And this is our panel. If you have any questions for any of this team or myself, I probably won't know the answer, but they will. If you have any questions, you can send that in to us right now, because this is live. I told everybody no curse words, no streaking this time. Keep it clean. But if you have any questions, come on, send it in, and we'll see if we can get some of those answers. But I have some from Onsites right now. I thought we could go ahead and kickstart it that way. Everyone wants to know what your favorite builders are doing right now to help your buyers. What is happening right now to help your buyers? Vaughn, I'll start with you since you're right next to me. No?
For some reason, we don't have instant access to a lot of specs. I don't know if you realize that. Before, we have books and booklets and stuff, but inventories now are going so fast that I think the best thing for us is if you could list it in MLS, get that when we search, it will come immediately instead of we have to Google. And there are many sites, which is, builders do have very good websites. But from what I notice, the websites for inventory homes are not updated.
Do you think some of that's because it's changing?
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
They go
Even
so
your
fast.
listings that you have are going
Right,
fast.
right. But I also see that there are some realtors who do list inventory homes, and most of the time they are already on contract, but they fail to go in and change the status. So that would waste our time having to bring our clients out and then find out that it's already sold most of the time, not even on contract. So to me, that's quite disappointing. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
I can chime in on that too. I mean, one of the things that's very frustrating for us is to search for new construction because there's really there's websites that do that, but it's very, very difficult. So it's hard for us to find communities and things like that. So I think for builders, actually reaching out to agents more and letting us know what inventory they have is very, very important. So.
Very good.
One thing that I've been doing with my company, I'm getting my new agents to go on site and go meet these sales counselors and talk to them. And some of the things that they have come back to me with, and I'm so brutally honest, so I'm sorry, here it comes, is that they go out there and the sales counselor isn't normally there, but they have an assistant, and the assistant knows absolutely nothing about the product. And I'm sending my agents out there to learn about the product, telling them, okay, go out there, learn everything you know, have them walk you around, tell you everything. And for the most part, the last few agents I've sent out have had assistants who knew nothing about the product at all.
Just
and
not prepared.
Not prepared, and I'm trying to get them more business by doing that. So we're actually looking to you guys to train new agents because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're needing to do, or it's all foreign. And I think that sales counselors and realtors don't realize that we have the same fears. We don't know. New realtors don't know what to expect, so we count on the sales counselors to tell us. And I know that early on, and I mean early on, 15, 17 years ago, I would really be very I would talk to a lot of sales counselors. They knew their product very well. There wasn't as much, so it was easier to really intimately know the details and know all the people running the show. So I think that really makes a connection when you know the builder, you know who the owner is. Knowing some background and history really is helpful, and I think them having that knowledge can really assist us.
Very good. Good information. Let me move on because you just made me think of something when you talked about having the on-sites being knowledgeable. When you have a relo buyer that's about to come in, everybody kind of think relo buyer, and you know that they've got to get to contract. Right now, do you have 4 communities that pop in your head that you would send them to immediately? Just with a wider price range. I know, I'm kind of, you don't know what their price range is, but we kind of know. I mean, let's just do average person buying right now. Do you have 4 people that you would go to first?
Yes.
Why? Why is it the builder? Is it the on-site sales agent why those names popped into your head? Is it location? Is it inventory? Why did those 4 pop in your head?
I would say all 3. I think part of my job as a realtor, as well as I think of the job as a builder on site, is to get to know those people who are selling new builds, and then form a relationship with them. Keep us informed of what products you have. So I can think of, like right now, I can go to D.R. Horton, I can make a phone call, and I know that I can find out what spec homes are available.
Is there one person you call at D.R. Horton? Is there somebody that's on the short dial?
It depends on the subdivision.
It depends on the subdivision. Like, for instance, I know that I could call Keith Roach. I could call Elaine. There are several salespeople that are on site. I can pick up the phone and call, and I know. The same thing like with Lennar. We form relationships like with Suzanne V., with Brett. Depending on the price point, automatically we know, because sometimes you aren't able to get out there. So if I call them ahead of time and I can go ahead and tell them about my client, then they can start looking for something, especially if some of the on-sites can sell in their location or in other locations. If there are spec homes available, I know if I can send out a phone call or an email, they're going to email me back and say, hey, I don't have something in my area, but I know I can sell in this area. Here's something that's available.
Interesting.
And I think when the on-site says, hey, it's okay if you can't make it out, that's huge, because we know that our client is going to like that home. Lenore's comes to mind, D.R. Horton comes to mind with me, Megatel, because I know I could call that on-site that I've worked with before and say, it's me, I can't make it out there, please help me, and they do it.
And that's the relationship that you guys
That's what I love.
Okay.
I love.
And, we spend a lot of time going out and visit, just like Alicia was saying, we spend a lot of time going out and visiting different builders and different on-sites so that we can establish that relationship, but also having them, on their, when they can, sending us that information, coming into the office and meeting various people, just making a phone call to check in. All of that is very important, and it's crucial in terms of forming relationships and in terms of keeping us aware of what products are out there and available.
Anybody else?
Yeah, no, I'm just to piggyback up what you guys were saying. It's just that building a rapport is huge, because when you know somebody, you're going to feel comfortable making that referral to your clients. So I think the rapport is huge, and I've used that in the past big time. So.
Absolutely. I think sales counselor is probably the top on my list over builder sometimes, just because I know that I can trust that person.
Absolutely.
It would be sales counselor on site, and then whoever's on site, and then the builder after that. I know Rebecca Thompson, who's a History Maker, actually reached out to me and said, hey, I have a new product, come see me. It really took her bringing it to my attention, and then I was all over it, of course. It's like, yes, thanks for bringing it to my attention, showing me what you have available, having specs available, and telling me when you've reduced something, making me aware of it makes a huge difference.
Very good. Okay, I have one that just came in. What builder incentive do your shoppers appreciate most right now? Because I know discounts are kind of hard. There's not really a reason for them anymore.
Yeah, builders don't have to do a lot of things. I also think sometimes that we should kind of counsel our clients first before going in. Now, don't go back 5 years ago, because somebody they might have a trusted friend or relative said, oh, you can ask the builder for a lot these days.
And I bet the on-sites, if they could scream at me through here, would probably say, yes, please educate this is for all realtors, because I know realtors are watching this. Make sure that you're educating your buyers that that's just not the case anymore. This isn't 2011 and 12. Things have changed for the better.
Right, and they have. And so, but I do appreciate when they have some incentives, and I do appreciate when they give that. And I tell my clients, you got to appreciate this, because you may not get it with the next person because they don't have to.
Right. Is there anything that's standing out to your buyers the most?
Well, I'm sorry, I think it depends on price point. When you're on the lower end and you're under, let's say, 175, then there are things that they may need that they can't get. Some closing cost assistance. They may be, credit rich, but, cash poor. Also, a lot of times people, especially if they're relocating, they may not have a refrigerator or a washer and dryer. So on that end, when you get to the higher end, then I think you have to look a little bit more at some of the types of things that you're offering in those higher end that people are looking for. They are looking for certain brand names that they want to have. So those are the kinds of things that I think you have to kind of cater it to. The client that you're looking at that particular time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree. On the first-time home buyer type buyer, it's definitely closing costs.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, just offering something sometimes makes clients happy, like blinds or just something. So that way they feel like, especially because there's not a lot of leverage on pricing now. If they can offer something to the buyer, they feel really comfortable with that. So
everybody blinds, because you forget about those.
Yeah.
When I bought my first house, I didn't do blinds. I didn't know it was 30 years ago, and I didn't have blinds for the people could look in.
Yeah, but then buyers feel like they walk away.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and even on our hotonhomes.com website, we're constantly encouraging the on-sites and the builders. We're saying put incentives in, even if it's not a discount. It's just what you have already included, because in that higher end, like Toll Brothers, Drees and Shattuck, those builders have so much included already in that price, like even hardwood floors that I know people are loving.
Granite, stainless steel appliances.
A more chef-type kitchen is what I was just at an event yesterday, and the kitchen was unbelievable. People are loving that kind of, I want to say, kind of a hotel feel in their own home.
Some awesome stuff.
That's just really sexy. So, those kind of incentives that we're encouraging them to say, hey, this is already included and it's worth X amount of dollars.
I remember when Megatel put in the espresso machine built in. Remember that?
Espresso machine.
Remember that? I just thought that's like the coolest thing ever. And the little flat screen and the master bath.
Invisible TV, remember, in the mirror?
Yes.
Yeah, they love
Invisible
that.
TV in the mirror makes you think you made it.
Those are the things that really make a
Right.
difference, you know, that you're getting.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that builders have changed a lot in terms of what they're offering, what's standard, what used to be standard and what's now standard are different. And I think that it's really important to make that clear to people and say, you know, like when you're walking, especially when you're walking in a model home, of what's standard and what's not. And especially if you're no longer carrying a particular product in your home, I think you need to make that clear, or maybe update the model home. I know it's a cost thing that you were talking about, but I think it's really, when you make it clear to someone what they're getting, then it's like there's less surprises, and then there's less confusion, and it's an easier walk to that deal, to having them right on the line.
Right. Very good. Okay, my next question, we touched on inventory, because that was something that you said. I said, what are the best things they're doing? And Vaughn was like, here's my first problem. And then David. But actually, what I do want to say, because inventory is moving so fast, how do you guys, do communities pop up in your mind that you know that they have inventory ready to go right now? Or is that still a problem? Or is there some that you can...
I always call because it's tough right now. It's just so crazy right now. Things go so fast that I always call before I go to builders.
There are certain builders that will always have some inventory, like D.R. Horton or Grand or Lennar, you know, Toll. Yeah, but some of them, you kind of know that they have inventories.
Right.
So, but now that you're saying that about me saying
No,
that's a problem,
That's what this is.
I can tell you, you know, what I appreciate about builders and Hot on Homes is you guys do a really good job promoting the new subdivisions with luncheons or open houses or happy hours. I think it's great, because without having those events, I would not have known those new communities, you know, where they were or what they offer. But when we get there, of course, we want to eat and, you know, get on TV or things like that. But
We're not a waste of time, because that's
right.
No,
I think it's one of the best things for builders is for you guys to promote that.
And I know sometimes we can't get you there, but I know if Alicia says I can't come, Laura will make sure she knows exactly where the community is and says, you know, and she'll say, well, you go out there later. And by the way, tell the on-site I sent you. Because we know that you guys are busy, but we love to have you at our events as well. And that was not solicited. We did not ask them to say that those events
I just want to say the mimosas the last time.
good.
But you know,
A little day drinking.
here's another thing. Sometimes, you know, new communities, they are not in the GPS. So when you promote a flyer of a new community, if you put the name of the subdivision, we have no clue what that is. So most of the time, you've got to tell us how to get there.
Yeah.
You know, because you said sunset at, you know, Hollywood. Where is that? You know, is it in California? You know, so we appreciate if you could put not only the address, but somewhat a general direction how to get there. Because most of the time, our GPS won't get us there, right?
Yeah,
So-
it does happen. You know,
So-
sometimes.
I know there's so many on-sites out there, like a Todd Boydston, or these guys that are working with you guys closely, Blake Kinney, who is at Toll up in Flower Mound. They are here to support you, because this is a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
What can they do as on-site sales agents to support their favorite, or the top realtors, to get you out to their communities?
Okay, this is a little thing, and they're going to hate me for it, but one of my guys at Lennar, like, he gave me his cell phone number so I could bug him sometimes whenever I want, and I know that's asking a lot.
I don't think so.
But you know, when you get that, and I can tell my client that we're going to work together, and when I need something or he needs something, that I know I can get a hold of him, or I can at least text him. You know, I won't bother him all the time, but hey, when you get a second, could you? And I'm telling you, for me, that goes a long way, because then the client is going to get the best service.
You know, and I remember 7 years ago, people going, I'm not giving my cell phone to anybody. And now, if you don't give your cell phone, I mean, I just worked with an actor, a very famous actor, and he gave me his card and his cell phone was on there.
Oh, give it to us.
I know. But I mean, that's a part of the, life now. And I think if you just guys have a good working relationship, texting, I mean, even internally at Hot On, we text at midnight. It's sad because, we feel like
You have
we
to sometimes.
but we just do because you've got to get the deal
Right.
done. So becoming cell phone friendly is great. And I know that they love when there's top realtors like yourself, they
Right.
probably have no problem doing that.
Well,
I think
Yeah, and I appreciate when they come in on their day off, and I hate to do that. Like, I'm a realtor, I have a schedule, I know how hard it is to take time off, but I do appreciate it when I can call one of my counselors and say, this is the only day that I can bring them out, and I really want to bring them to you because you actually, I know you're going to be able to do this for me. And so it makes a huge difference when they're flexible like that. I never, it's not something I'm going to demand, and if I can work around it, I'm always going to do that, but there are times when you just can't, it goes a long way.
Well, and we're all full service agents, so I really give VIP treatment to my clients, so I expect the same from the builder too, It's not like we just show up and do the deal we're done. So
Yeah, and I think it's important. You don't have to call as much as you do. Just send us an email and say this is the, like if, especially when you have spec homes that that are sold or they're coming on the market, and give us some information about that. Because, for instance, I create just a little file in my email box, and I just keep all of my builders in there so that it's easy to refer to if you can't get someone on the phone. And it's my little pet peeve is I really don't like when I go in to visit a builder and the on-site tells me, oh, well, go look on our website. Because my next question is, why are you here? If I have to go look on the website, my whole thing in forming that relationship is that, I'm bringing someone in and I'm trusting you and, and we're working really hard for that person because this is their most personal thing. This is a home that they're purchasing. And so if I'm bringing you in the door, it's basically we want to make a deal and we want to get something done. We want that person to have a house. We were trying to help them to purchase something. I want them to get on it. There are a few salespeople I know. I can bring my client in the door. I've prepped him. I can bring them in the door and I can just kind of sit back because they are going to sell them the home of their dreams. And that's the kind of person that I'm looking for.
Is there anyone out there, no names, but is there anyone out there that has cost you and you're like, I won't go to that builder anymore because of that on-site, or has it just been, I won't go to that on-site? Has it been that
Yes.
powerful that the on-site has cost you that? What was the situation? I mean, in a short 12 seconds, I mean, what kind of, give me the bumper sticker version, what's going to cost that builder the opportunity with that buyer? Give me some examples of what's happened.
Mine was a very uncomfortable commission disagreement that we had in front of my client, which was, and I basically said, call your sales manager and, we'll discuss it with him, and my client had to hear that whole conversation, which, it was very uncomfortable. So I won't go back to that builder or that sales rep at all.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to know who it was, I'll get the information from him and I'll go only to the division president so you can maybe mend that relationship with David Mays, who is a top salesman, realtor in the industry.
First and first, that should never be discussed.
Exactly.
Bonuses should never, none of that should ever even hit the table because it's about the client.
Right.
And, just like I wouldn't say, okay, give me your money, I'll decide what to do with it. You don't want to do that. You don't know what agent may or may not do that, but it's not something that should be discussed at all. But also, too, like I brought some clients in and the salesperson looked at them and assumed they didn't have any money by the way they were dressed. And so just kind of ignored them and went to someone else. And it was a busy time. Okay, we're going somewhere else. And we bought something that day with someone else. And that could have been a sell in their pocket.
They pretty womaned them.
Exactly.
They did do that.
Exactly.
And what happened today was horrible. I mean, I don't know. But then what do you do in the situation where you have a client that wants to go back to the builder, and maybe luckily I would probably, and in that subdivision probably cross my fingers a little bit because maybe it just was a bad employee,
It was sales rep
and stuff. So but I would feel uncomfortable. I'm sure your client did too, and they were probably okay, we can move on.
But
from
I would
that.
have no qualms picking up the phone and calling someone, the president, whoever, the manager, and saying, I will not work with this person. You need to put someone else because it's a sales that's at risk. The buyer loves your product. He wants to buy your product, but why stand in the way of the buyer having not only a good product, but a good experience? I don't want them to have a bad experience.
Good point. Anybody else?
Well, we need the sales rep to support us. Just like what Jill said. If we couldn't be there at a certain time, we trust that they take care of our clients. Or if we show that client one weekend, but they said, you know what, I want to think about it. Maybe, there's a certain directions or a certain feng shui, whatever, that I need to check out before I commit myself to this lot or to the direction that the house faces. And then they would come back the next weekend or a couple of days later without you. And of course, the salesperson doesn't remember because, there's so many on the weekends, and they'd say, well, I don't have my realtor. Is there a better deal for me? Well, yeah. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That happens to us all the time. All the time. So how can we have someone that we can trust and take care of us when something like that happens?
I think just commissions and bonuses are off the table.
Yep.
Call me. Let me know. I normally discuss it with them first before coming out. But again, that goes back to the relationship and you training your realtors when they come in. Hey, we have bonuses. In some instances, you can cut it back. Call me and let me know if that's what you want to do. Explain that situation to realtors, new realtors, because just like them, they don't know. And I think one of the situations that happened to me was that I had a favorite builder, and I remember that the sales counselor would just go on and talk, and I'm like, we're ready. We're ready to write the contract. I'm there at 8 p.m. and I'm like, I'm ready. So I think it's, if your realtor's sitting there and says, we're ready to sign,
Land the plane.
Land it. Absolutely. So it's the opposite way, right? I get sales counselors and we talk all the time, and they say, oh my God, the realtor, the client's like, I love this place, and they're like, but we have 2 more to go.
Yeah.
So it happens in reverse as well with some sales counselors.
Because, I think our clients need to know too that the on-sites have our back as well. I mean, we bring them there, and they should have, but they should have somebody fighting for them. Otherwise that's like a lawyer representing 2 sides of the,
I'm so glad you brought that up. I will say that I do remember this has been something for years that I've heard from builders in meetings, even from presidents, where somebody has come into a realtor has walked somebody, and that buyer is like, this is it, this is what I want, and then the realtor goes, wait, I have 2 more homes to show you. And the builder's like, but they want it, and then that's
on your mind. Call me direct.
And I guess I would be frustrated too, but I guess, the buyer, take them to what your best is, and then if they want to buy it, you're like, good, because it was all downhill from here. So very good. David, my question, do you encourage your buyers to go with the builder's preferred lender in order to for them to get, because I know builders can incentivize if you go with a particular lender, or do you just say, let's check with that lender, let's run other lenders as well? What do you do?
It's a good question because it comes up all the time, because obviously there's incentives. So I always tell them to check with the builder's lender and then also check with another lender.
Do you appreciate that the builder ties that in and gives the
I think it's a great
buyer
incentive
an
for people.
opportunity?
I really do. I think it's a great incentive for people, and I think that back in the day, they were not very good lenders sometimes that they partnered with, but some of the ones that are associated with builders now are actually pretty good. So, and it's hard to beat those incentives sometimes. So.
I think that's the problem. It's hard to beat, but in the same sense, I have such a good rapport with my lender, as I know you guys do, the lenders that you work with, that sometimes I wish they could maybe scoot it over. Like if I've already qualified them, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, we want to do a new home. We go, okay.
You feel bad.
Yeah, then I would maybe say, okay, well, if you're going to give this incentive, maybe we can put that over here, and maybe throw in the washer and dryer or whatever the case may be, to maybe take that money. And I do appreciate what they do, but sometimes it's a little bit hard because they already feel comfortable. They get all this stuff to my lender, and then it gets changed
your lender
a little.
who referred them to you in the first place.
That hurts, and that's happened to me.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Not possible.
Ouch.
This is how it is. That does, and it can prevent you from going to that builder because you already know what you're up against, and you have a lender. When you're a top producer, you're going to partner with all different types of people, and there's different reasons why you make decisions on who you take them to. So sometimes I think if they have a hard line about who they have to use as a lender, I appreciate them having a lender on site and having incentives, but I also have to take into consideration where the lead came from and
Right, but how do you tell your client, how do you tell your client not to take the $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000, whatever it is? I know.
That's for your
That's what I have to tell them, and
okay,
it's just
I have
a hard
subject
sticky.
change because I want to talk about something kind of fun. I feel like and these still may be the must-haves. I don't know, but I want to run through some sexy rooms in the house. Are they still a must-have? Media rooms.
Yes.
Still, people still want media rooms.
Yes and no.
Luxury
Yes and
rooms,
no.
slash
Yes and
Luxury,
no.
sorry, it's a price point thing.
Yeah, but it's media room / man's cave.
Man's
They're
cave.
going to all of the guys that I know that I have sold, and it has a media room. It's like that's my domain. Just everybody forget it. If she has the rest of the house, I have to have one spot for myself.
Okay.
And so that's when it becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game rooms, Vaughn.
Game room also depends on the square footage
Yep.
and the community. If it's a family-oriented, community, then game room is a must.
Okay.
And if it's like starter homes, then it might not be a necessity.
Mhm.
Just like media room, I think media was huge. I would say 7, 8, 10 years ago.
Right.
But I think now the biggest demand for my buyers right now is a very open
Yep.
kitchen and family room, because that's where they gather their families most of the time.
On
And
high
that's-
end, I think the sexiest room in the house right now is a wine grotto.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the wine rooms have become really big and popular, and some wood, and it kind of replaced the man's cave
Mm.
a little
Okay.
bit.
Master bathrooms too in luxury properties. It's a huge.
Outdoor living area.
Oh, yeah.
With
Yeah.
fireplace
Yeah.
and built-in
Absolutely.
grill. That's the
Mhm.
big thing right now, especially with Texas, that we are probably 8 months warm and hot out of the year, that they do cook out and entertain more outside.
More so than the media room. I
Yes,
agree with you.
absolutely.
100%.
I had a friend who actually they just built one of their dream homes, but they built their dream home, but they were on a more of a budget, and what they did with their one room was they turned it into a multi-purpose room. So it actually was a TV room, but it also was their daughter's dance room. So they put hardwoods in there, and then there's a
Ah.
mirror, but then they have a TV that
That's
can come
nice.
out. And then they actually put in I don't remember what are they called, the bed that can come from
Murphy
the
bed.
wall?
Murphy
Murphy bed.
Yeah.
They actually did all of that, and they turned one room for somebody who may not be in the price
Absolutely.
point up, in the higher end price point, to kind of fit that.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen any of that? That would be kind of fun, maybe an idea for builders to
I think that's
outside the box.
fantastic. A
Mhm.
multi-purpose room like
Write
that.
that down. I just gave a great idea. Multi-purpose
Multi-purpose
room. Yes.
Because you can change that, like 5 years, 10 years from now, when they turn around to sell, it's not just a media room.
Mhm.
Like if you can put windows in there, but then you can have drapes. So later on, that media room can be, another game room,
Right. And you're
dance
seeing them do
room
that
or
with some of the
whatever.
media rooms, you're seeing them
Yeah.
put a window in it
Right.
so that you can change it into something.
Exactly.
So it does, it works.
And keep the closet.
That's right.
Gotta have
Because some-
closets.
and you gotta have
And
the
with younger
closet.
buyers, formal livings are all but. They're
Well,
like,
that was
what do I do?
actually
Yeah,
my next
sorry,
statement.
yeah.
When's the last time you went into a new home and there was a formal living? I have to thank myself as well.
I think in lower range, under 350, you still see a formal dining.
Dining,
But it's
yes.
convertible. I mean,
Yeah.
you can convert it
Yeah.
into an office. You can
Formal
convert it into
dining
that.
or study.
Is there
Sort
any
of.
reason out there for builders at this point to put formal livings in the home?
Yes, if it's a one-story, because this family that have older kids that have gone to college, but they have gorgeous family dining room set that's been given to them from grandma. People will not buy a home if they don't have a formal dining room big enough for their dining room. But
For
yeah,
formal living.
yes, for a formal living. I guess the formal living is not a
Younger
necessity
buyers might
anymore.
want
My gut was no, but you deal with
I
buyers.
think you hit it when you said if there's a room that's a multi-purpose,
Right.
something that you can convert to
Exactly.
something else, then that is what works. Yeah.
And I
So
think
there
They
you
can
go.
put the piano in the
has
formal
put-
living room, right?
Yeah.
HGTV has put a big emphasis on the kitchens and eating
Yep.
kitchens and that open space with that, where you entertain in your kitchen and you have the sitting around the kitchen. I think that's become really popular, and I think that's been made up because of all the renovations that you see on TV.
What are some of the advantages of, I'd love just to hear from y'all, that has been a high point whenever you have a buyer who says, hey, we're looking at this brand new home, but there's also this pre-owned. How are you getting them, and this is a very selfish question because we want them all to buy new, but what are you telling them? I would go with new.
One word: utilities.
Exactly.
Energy
Look at
efficiency.
the electric bill.
That's right.
Look at the
Every single time.
Every single time.
Every single time.
Green certification. They do save at least $200-300 a month, with the same square footage home pre-owned versus new build. There's no doubt about it.
Mhm.
And plus, they have everything under warranty.
And I was just going to say that they at least have callbacks for a year. Sometimes they do two, but they at least have the callbacks.
Yeah.
And I feel like
it
everybody
really
should own a
makes-
new home at least once, especially for new buyers too. They love
Yeah,
it.
especially if someone is, their budget is right there, and I can save, $300 on utilities, and I can put that on my mortgage, then I can maybe afford a little bit more home too.
That's right.
Yes.
So
I'm glad y'all said that. And actually, I want to have, speaking on the multi-purpose room, some builders are now creating that multi-generational home. Like Lennar has that home within a home. Are those hot items for the families who are, more than one family may live under the same roof?
I think it's getting to be.
That
Yeah,
home within a
definitely.
home
Yeah,
is becoming
yeah.
a hot item.
Because college kids, after they graduate, they haven't found a job yet.
Some parents.
They come back home to live.
David, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Go ahead and reiterate
Well, America's becoming multicultural too. I mean, a lot more. So you're saying, I don't want to talk specifically about different demographics, but there are different cultures that do bring in their in-laws and things like that. So
They embrace that kind of
Yeah.
lifestyle and want to live under one roof.
And
Not
it's
just for a
important.
financial reason, but that's just culturally how it's an acceptable thing. And so I think to be able to give a client that, and whether you use it as having it for your mother-in-law because she's assisting with your family needs,
Yeah.
or you're using it for your college kids to
Exactly.
come back and have a place to stay.
That's why,
temporarily.
that's why one story is so hot right now, or 1.5 story.
Yeah.
Or if it's a 2-story, then they want a master down with another guest bedroom and a full bath down and a study. That's the ultimate floor plan right now, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it is, because people are thinking in the future. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, and eventually my mother and father will come live, or his will, or, even an aunt or an uncle, hey, they're going to be moving to this area. They'll be living with us for a while. Or they visit for a time, like maybe 3 months. I remember my grandmother used to come up. We had a Murphy bed, believe it or not. In 1970-something, my parents built the house, but she would come and stay with us for 3 or 4 months at a time. So we just needed something, and she'd go and we'd put the bed up, but she had access to a bathroom, but it was also an office. So, yeah, I think it's even more so now.
I'm seeing it a lot because at the stage of my career, that I'm having and selling them their second and third homes, and they're bringing their parents in. And I just sold an Emerald home, one of the first ones that they had over in Rockwall, and that's why they bought it, because they had an amazing space on one story where they could put their mother-in-law or the mother-in-law
Yeah.
suite.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
3-car garage is still a must.
I'm a little prone to
For bigger homes,
but
yes.
yeah, I love that. So
I'm a guy, so
I'm a-
yes.
I'm a car guy.
That's
I like
what.
bigger
Yeah,
homes.
right.
But no, I think people like the space, like the storage too.
storage
So
space.
I think it's still popular.
I'm actually a big fan of 3-car garages as
People
well.
have toys in Texas too. So
Yes.
it's nice for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like retirement communities, the 3-car tandem is great
Mhm.
because they can put their boat,
Yeah.
they can put their golf cart,
Right.
so but they don't need 3-car garage, right?
Well, yeah, you
And
have
in
to
smaller
do-
lots,
that's
we
an
can
idea,
do
too.
a
Yeah.
3-car tandem.
On that Emerald, I'll tell you the interesting story. On that Emerald home, he wanted a 4-car garage, and for the life of me, I couldn't make it figure it out.
Right.
So in Highland Park, they do the double stacks now, where
Yeah.
they put in the hydraulic,
Yep.
and he had a custom car, and that's how we got away with it. We just pitched the
Oh,
roof
wow.
up, put a hydraulic in. They put his custom little.
That was
vehicle above
Emerald. So
it.
Emerald. put in
Emerald
the-
did that for us.
How
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Well done.
Well done,
Yeah.
Emerald.
I want to see that.
Yeah. So
We
We need to
It
shoot that
was
for Hot On.
amazing.
That'd be a lot of fun.
We-
Can
Yeah.
you use Hot On at any point to? We
You
can
know
feature
what?
them on
She
the
would
show.
love to show
Oh,
our
very-
house.
okay. This is my
And
above
that's
and
something good you can tell your client. Now I have a little tip in my head, for some reason. Well, let's make it, yeah.
it's remote control operated. That's awesome.
It is.
Is it? Oh,
And
that's
it's not that expensive. I think it was like
Good.
for them, it was like a $10,000 upgrade, which was cheaper
Yeah.
than that
Not
4th
bad.
garage.
Yeah.
It really
Wow.
was.
Well, the 3-car garage already 4,000 or 5,000.
Plus, every husband that's going to hear that's going to be like,
That's what
did she just say hydraulic?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
When the kids are playing on it, yeah, good, okay.
Oh, sure. Okay, this is my above and beyond section that I've kind of started myself, but I want to know if there are any on-site sales agents who have gone above and beyond for you lately or recently that you love working with them, or somebody you should love
Yes.
working with on a regular basis, and I would love for you to kind of send a shout out.
Okay. I'm going to send a shout out to Keith Roach with D.R. Horton. We had a client her husband had passed away, and she needed to buy a new home, and of course, they're all on a fixed budget. I'm on a fixed income. So we went in, and We showed her all over Fate, and we could not find anything. And it just so happened that when we got called, they had originally said that it was out of her price range.
Mm-hmm.
And so my sister said, you know what, I'm just going to take a chance. And she called Keith, and she's like, this is the buyer I have. This is what's going on. He said, why don't y'all just come over and take a look? Casually, we went over there. He was able to work out a deal for her. She moved in. We only had 30 days. And she was able to go from one home to another, and she loves it now. And so, gotta
my
say,
question
thank
is,
you, Keith.
Do you have Keith's cell phone number?
Absolutely.
There you go. Okay, good. Jill?
Okay, I have a couple of them, but John at Lennar at the Artesia in Prosper, because my people were like, should we do this? Should we not do this? And he kept me updated, and it was so funny because he even called me and would tell me, hey, they bought this lot and we're going to start building, but the lots could go up, and he would tell me, and so they walked in with equity. So, I mean, that was the beauty of just how happy they were of everything that he did for them. He kept them updated on why, when we decided they should buy it, why it was a good idea. And that's what I liked, that they were good. And Doc at Megatel in Fort Worth, way far away. It was really far, yeah, Doc at Megatel.
Doc at Megatel. Got it. Okay. Anyone else?
I have Jennifer Green with DL Hornet Reserve of West Ridge. I just sold 3 homes with her within the last 6 weeks.
Really?
And 3 are the most challenging ones. Because each family has to have a front door facing a certain direction.
Okay.
Not only that, the kitchen has to be on the southwest corner.
Got it.
The master bedroom has to be northeast corner. I mean, one of those. And each family is a different direction. And not only that, it can't have a certain things in front of them. And
she made it happen.
Well, I had to tell her ahead of time, this is what they're looking for.
Okay.
So I don't want to bring them there and have to sit for an hour for her to search. I said, this is what are the must-haves. So you need to find me a lot or something that we can build. And she would text me back right away. She said, well, I have a lot, but then I don't know if the master or the kitchen can be. But let me check to see. And there was one floor plan that she could flip that can make that happen. Mm-hmm. So it was very challenging, and she did it.
That's impressive, and I'm sure she appreciated it. I'm sure Onsites would appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, call ahead and let let it look like we've already done all the research for you and homework, and I'm sure that Jennifer appreciated that.
And both of us look good.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I heard she celebrated in Cancun.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Okay, so David.
Well, yeah, just not recently myself, but I mean, just to kind of what we've been talking about basically, it's that rapport, and I think it's just going above and beyond. Sales reps who have done that for me in the past, they, I do have their cell phone. I can call them on the weekends. Mm-hmm. Anything that's specific, that's like you said, facing a certain direction or whatever, they'll do it for you, and that's that VIP service that we're really looking for. So.
And that you're kind of requiring.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you should.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And inter-office too, like within our office, we all talk too. So we're all asking which salespeople that you use in which community too. So that's important.
Yeah.
And I'm taking notes to that too.
You're right. Absolutely.
Mine is going to be off the beaten track. It's Rebecca Thompson over at Heartline, and she knew where I got my nails done. And I know this isn't about what they did with my customer, because my customer should be taken care of, right? They should know what they're doing. They should understand my client. They should satisfy their deals. But above and beyond for me, I finished my nails, and my nail tech was like, "You're good. Someone paid for you."
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, somebody paid for me. And she's like, yeah, Rebecca paid for your nails.
Rebecca
that
who?
was so it was so endearing to me, because I know that she didn't have to.
That was really, that's nice.
She didn't have to. It was so nice. I've never forgotten. I've told every person, every realtor, like how fabulous she is, because for me, it was like, wow, she really appreciates me.
Well played, Rebecca.
Brilliant,
that's right.
Yeah.
It went a long way. It really did for me.
Very nice.
That's very good. Good. Well, we always love to hear that kind of feedback, because I know we work very, very closely with the Onsite sales agents as well. And I want to see, hold on, I have one more question. Ooh, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate builders' effectiveness at following up with you and your client?
10. Must.
Good. Must be a 10. Good, good.
Yep.
And do you usually have 10s?
No.
Okay. Greater than 5? I mean, if
Yeah.
5's
That's
average.
a pretty good experience. Yeah, I've had
If
good
5's average, you know, it's
I
usually
would have
5 or
7.
less.
7, 8.
Okay.
No, it's below 5,
It's below 5.
Wow.
usually.
I've had pretty good experiences, you know, but I
Okay.
mean, I text and stuff like that, so as long as they get back with me, I mean, I understand that they're busy too, but as long as they get back with me within the day, I'm usually good. I mean, it's fine.
I think also it depends on the season and the time that we're in.
Yeah.
I can say, 2-3 years ago, we were getting calls all the time because they needed
Yeah.
to make those sales. But now, I'm agreeing with Alicia, it's probably maybe 3 or 4
Mm-hmm.
with follow-up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So here's one. Large acreage tracts in demand. Are they? Does everybody want an acre or do they want less?
Depends on the buyer. It's specifics for people that are looking for that.
In the
sort of
area,
thing.
too.
If it is that higher end buyer,
Yep.
do they want an acre?
I'm not seeing that like I did a few years ago.
Okay.
Now I'm seeing people wanting to move in town. They're wanting to scale down. But again, I think it's the demographic of your
Exactly.
client.
Right.
Where
After
I'm
school.
working with a lot of empty nesters now, and I don't have as many young families.
But they do want a good sized yard, I would
They do,
say.
yes,
Yeah.
a nice lot,
Mhm.
not acreage.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Good. Okay, let me keep it going. This is one. This is for Hot On. This is for me. So when you walk in, and this is for you Onsites. Whenever you walk in, do the Onsites ask how you got there? Do they ever ask, or do they really care because they're getting, they know that it's time for them to turn it on? But when you walk in with a buyer, do they ever ask, how did the buyer find out about us? Or do they just assume that it's because they're with you?
Hardly ever asked.
No.
I've never had that question.
Okay.
Not even
No.
once.
But it's always you. Always.
No, it's not that, but that's where I'm always like, usually if a realtor's tied to it, I would assume that's what gets checked on the how did you hear about us?
Going back to the luncheons, really, I love the luncheons. In our office, we really work on getting people to the luncheons, and then we make it kind of an event. And I will tell you, for me, it's the one way that I can get my agents there. They do love the prizes, I'm not going to lie. I love walking in there with a bunch of realtors, and I get them there. So I've seen some really well put on luncheons, and then I've seen some that aren't, but it does make a difference on the presentation, and how it doesn't matter. You do need to have those events. I think it helps getting people out there.
Oh, yeah, and it's top of mind then, because
Yeah.
that's the first thing we'll think of.
I encourage
So-
my agents to go to those, so
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
well attended. Our office is big on that. So.
Well, we try to keep it, I know at Hot On, we've always tried to keep it business as well. Laura Warris, who's our
Right.
Director of Realtor Relations, is a little bossy anyway. And she'll kind of scare you, and she does a good job of making sure that when you walk in, the first question you get on that sign-in sheet is, have you sold a new home within the last 60 days? And we do that on purpose because we want the builders to know. But if you're an on-site and you're watching this, if I could beg you, please ask the realtors, ask the buyers, what other marketing they use, because chances are they've known a lot more about you before they ever walked in your front door, even before maybe they got a realtor on the deal too, because they may have started their process of elimination on hotonhomes.com long before. You just never know, or not even Hot On, somewhere else that they're starting to eliminate, because the internet has made buyers much more educated.
It really does.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
And I do feel also, I want to add something at the builders' luncheons. I would like to see the sales reps, be more active, to go out there to meet the realtors.
Work the room.
Because for some reason, most of the time I see they just stand in one place, or they just talk to that particular realtor who they work with all the time.
Right.
And leave the rest just like, we don't even know who the sales reps are.
Yeah.
And there are serious realtors like we are, that we come to the luncheons to find out about the product, to find out about what you've got, more so than 90% of them just come to eat the lunch and don't care. So I would like to meet the sales reps, and they're hardly ever available to talk to me.
Yeah, I think they need to have some talking points.
Yes.
Because especially if it's a new community, or if you're opening up a new phase, give us some talking points. Come over and let us know, like what kind of specs. Do you have any new plans? What kind of features are you going to be putting in the home? Do you have any incentives going on? Give us some information, because that is why we're there.
Very good.
Maybe you can have like a happy hour, like a meet the.
We
builder,
do
meet the
happy
sales rep or
hours,
something like that.
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because sometimes
I think that that's better for us than luncheons.
But sometimes it's you work better too in a smaller group. So
Yes.
maybe you only have, because if I walk into a luncheon and it's like 50 people,
Yeah, more intimate.
I'm apt to say, okay, let me go do what I need to do real quick. And because you can't see the home, you can't really ask the questions, you can't talk. But when it's a little bit more and you hit those key people that you know,
Exactly.
and you're going to get that information, and you're going to have some follow-up.
Right, and we are actually running out of time, or we're out of time probably, but that's okay. If any of you guys want to know any of these top realtors, you can email me anytime. It's nwoods@hotonhomes.com, and I'll get you the information. You probably all know Laura Juarez. It's L Juarez at Hot on Homes. We will get you their contact information so you can start to build the relationships with the top agents, and these are 5 of them in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're here for you. This is a partnership with all of us. I feel like our realtors are our partners, and our builders are our partners, and all of our clients are the buyers. And that's what we're trying to do, is drive that traffic to you and get the right people in that room so you can be the closer, because that's what these on-sites are. That's what they're really good at, is closing. So thank you guys for hanging out with us for an hour, and I hope this was informative. And if you have any other topics of discussion that you want us to bring up, feel free to send that our way as well. You can email me or Laura, anybody here at the Hot On family. You probably know my cell phone. I actually give all of them my cell phone as well, but we are here for you, and we'll see you next time. Maybe we can have some on-sites in the hot seats.
That would be good.
Yeah. Maybe we can have hot on-sites and then realtors, and then they can fight.
There you go.
It'll be fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
Yay.
Thank you guys.